All right. Today we will discuss Python, its features, its environment, and all. This is a very good tutorial. Uh, by tutorial point, this also I would share with you all. This is detailed one. I want you all to learn Python in detail. If you learn Python in detail, it will really help you. Syllabus is not that much detailed, but if you studied it in detail, it will help you. All right, here we will begin with the overview. Python 3. I think the current version is Python 3.9. Python 3 is very different from Python 2. Nowadays, you don't have to think about Python 2 at all. That is an obsolete version. The current version is Python 3.5 and above. You can use for your program execution. We already covered that Python is a high-level interpreted, interactive, object-oriented scripting language. Students, will anyone tell me a difference between scripting and programming language? We covered the difference, and also please tell me the difference between compiled and interpreted language.
Compile means the entire code executed at a time, and interpreted means the entire code executed line by line.
Very good. That is difference between compiled and interpreted. Scripting and programming language means scripting languages are designed for specific tasks. You can have client-side scripting or server-side scripting, and they are not too rigid. Scripting languages are not rigid in the context of declaring variable with data types, and the syntax is quite easy compared to programming languages. Programming languages are formalized languages which has the syntax to be followed to declare a variable, and there are several rules that need to be followed. Whereas scripting languages relaxes many of the things that programming languages require. Interpreted means it is processed at runtime by the interpreter, and you no need to compile your program before executing. And Python is similar to Perl and PHP. These are also two very popular scripting languages. Python is interactive, means a user can enter values for the command, for the input. It is interactive. It can communicate with the user. While during execution of the program would ask or prompt the user to enter certain values, and user would enter. That is interactive. Object oriented, it supports class, object, subclasses, means inheritance, polymorphism, and all the object oriented features. And Python is a beginner's language. It is said that Python is very easy to learn, and because it is very easy to learn, it is sometimes called as beginner's level programming language. And it supports wide range of applications. We discussed applications. You can develop any kind of application: desktop application, data science application, machine learning application, IoT application, web application. Any kind of application you can develop through Python. It is very general purpose in nature. History of Python also we discussed. Let us quickly revise. It is developed by Guido van Rossum, and it was formally announced in 1991. It was developed in 1989 and it has derived features from various languages like ABC, Modular 3, C, C++, Algol, Smalltalk. These are all the names of the languages, programming languages. And Python is copyrighted. It means this is GNU General Public License. GNU GPL means it is released. It is available on general public license. If something is available on general public license, it means it is open source. Open source means anyone can get the version for free. Get it for free. It is you need not purchase it. And then Python 1.0 was released in 1994. In 2000, 2.0 was released, and uh, okay, perhaps yeah. But at the time when Python 2 was declared obsolete, its version was 2.7. It and they stopped continuing it further. Python 3.0 was released in 2K8, and Python 3 is not backward compatible to 2. All right, and the uh, actually current version is 3.9, I guess. But at the time of writing this tutorial, perhaps the version was 3.5. Uh, and the Python features include it is easy to learn, it is easy to read, it is easy to maintain. As we go along and write Python programs, you will find it very easy. It has got huge support for library, and it operates in interactive mode. It is portable. You can run Python on any variety of hardware platforms. It is extendable. You can extend the Python by adding features to the Python interpreter. And then it supports programming with the databases. It can interact and connect to the database. Also, it supports GUI programming, GUI, graphical user interface programming. It's very scalable. You can extend the support for more number of machines. Then it is said to be scalable. Other features of Python, it supports functional, structured, and OOPS programming. C is just a structured programming. It's not object oriented. C++ is object oriented. Java is object oriented. Whereas Python is all in one. It is functional, structured, object oriented. And it can be used as a scripting language, or it can also be compiled to bytecode like Java. How you compile Java program into bytecode, like that support is also provided, but typically it is an interpreted language. And it is a very high level dynamic data types and also dynamic type checking. It supports automatic garbage collection, and it can be easily integrated with other programming languages like C, C++, COM, ActiveX, Xcorba, Java. You can integrate Python program with C program or Java program. It has got enormous number of features. Python 3 environment setup. As we discussed, that just a single statement is enough for printing of hello statement, hello world statement. Just you see print and hello Python. To perform local setup, if you have laptop and if you want to perform local setup, means in your system you would like to have the software of Python installed, that is possible. Or if you would like to execute directly on the web using browser, that is also possible. And then to do that, to do local setup, this is Linux environment, Mac environment, and Windows environment is not given in this. But then to set up in Windows environment, you can type Python okay, python.org. Please note down, it is python.org website from where you can download Python software. Download the latest version of for Windows, which is Python 3.9.5. You can download and you can do setup. It is very easy. This is like installing JDK and then writing program in Notepad, executing in command prompt. Same kind of environment will be uh, set up if you download this Python software. It is just a Python. It is not IDE. This is just a Python software. You install it and then you can execute it, execute the programs on command prompt. And then setting a path. You know, in Windows, to execute Python, if you install Python and then if you execute it from command prompt, then you have to type at CMD. You have to, okay, Windows is also given here. So to add the Python directory, at the command prompt, type path, uh, percentile path, C:\Python and press enter. Suppose if you have installed your Python software in C drive, then in this manner you can do setup at local system. Python environment variables are Python path, Python startup. It is similar to path. How you set path in Java? If you follow the conventional mechanism of execution, you have to set the path. If you don't do that, if you use IDE, you don't have to set any path. Directly you can execute. But you should know that this is also this way is also possible. Okay, interactive interpreter, where at command prompt, when you say when you set the path and you enter in the Python directory, at that point you can execute the program or commands. Okay, these are the available command line options. You can, if you are executing program at command line to debug, to generate optimized bytecode, do not import site, to look for Python path, verbose output, disable class-based built-in exceptions, run Python. These are all if you are doing it in command prompt. Integrated development environment. All right, Python Win. Python Win is the interface supported by Windows for Python with GUI. GUI. We call it GUI. But we will be using Colab, or if you have a machine, you set up a PyCharm. You install Anaconda. To install Anaconda, uh, I will show you Anaconda. This is www.anaconda.com. In this, this Anaconda supports entire data science toolkit. All these softwares are supported by this Anaconda, Jupyter, Spider, You can download this Anaconda as well. Individual edition. Here download option is there, no? Then syntax. Let us begin the syntax. Python interpreter would have like these three angle brackets. If you are doing it in command prompt, you will get these three angle brackets. You can type. That is, this is Python interpreter. Through Python interpreter, you can do after downloading Python software, or you can do it on command prompt CMD by typing. Hmm. Students, please don't get confused. Just keep this in mind. Why I am showing you all the options, because you are now masters students. You should know every option that is available. Uh, Even though you may not practice everything, but you should know that okay, we can do in this manner or in that manner. This option is available. If I teach you only one option, you will know only one thing. Then later, if someone asks, you may not be able to say that okay, that can be done in that manner as well. That's why I'm making you learn all these things. Just keep it in mind that there are several ways to execute Python programs. Primarily conventional methods or IDE methods. To do conventional method, you have to install Python 3.9.5, and then uh, that is known as Python interpreter. Today is 2/6/25.
Ma'am,
Hmm.
ma'am, some more people want to join, ma'am.
Some more people see here. Tell them to try again. Here I'm not getting that option to allow.
Okay, ma'am.
Students, please try to learn that there are so many ways to set up Python environment. First one is conventional method. Second one is modern method. In modern method, you have IDEs. In conventional method, you have editor plus command prompt. And now, in this editor, you may use Notepad to write the programs, or you may use Notepad++. Then you may use command prompt to execute Python programs. To execute Python programs, you have to type py. You have to type py program name .py. The extension to normal Python program is .py. Normal Python program means which write Notepad, which has number of lines. You save this. Let us save it add.py. Py is the extension. To execute here, you can write py or Python. You write Python program name.py. Okay, this is conventional. In this, there are several IDEs like in Anaconda, you get everything. Anaconda is a distribution that includes everything. Anaconda distribution. Separately also you can install. If you don't want to install Anaconda, then separately you can install PyCharm. This is an IDE. You can install Spider. This is also an IDE. Along with Python distribution, you get PyCharm, Spider, also Jupyter notebooks. Okay, students. Um, I hope this one is clear to you all. If not, please you can ask me. Don't hesitate. Okay, now we are beginning with the first topic in Python, which is Python identifiers. Python identifiers are nothing but variable names or function names or class names. Names. Identifiers are nothing but the names. So a Python identifier is a name. It is used to identify a variable, function, class, module, or any object. And what are the convention that you need to follow? Identifier begin with a letter, capital A to Z, or small a to Z, or an underscore. You can begin with any of these, followed by zero or more letters, underscores, and digits. You cannot have other special characters. You can have alphabet means A to Z, small and capital, underscore, or digits. Python does not allow punctuation characters such as at the rate, dollar, this percentile with identifiers. Okay, Python is a case-sensitive programming language. Students, please don't get confused. At some instance, we say that it is a script language. Some other point, we say that it is a programming language. Although primarily it is a scripting language, but it is a full-fledged programming language also. It supports everything, except that it does not have those rigid rules. So you can call it programming language as well. There is no harm in calling Python a programming language. It is a case-sensitive programming language. Please note down, all these are important points. The identifier manpower with a capital M is different from manpower with a small m. Okay. So the naming conventions are the whatever we have discussed. These are the reserved words. What are reserved words? Reserved words are keywords that have got special meaning. If you say and in Python, Python knows, the interpreter of Python knows and means something. Exec means something. Finally means something. Means there are predefined meanings to these words. They are known as keywords. And I think you all are aware that keywords cannot be used as the names to constants, variables, or any identifier names. All the Python keywords contain lowercase letters. They are all in lowercase. So how many of them are there? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 31. 31 keywords are there. Def, del, in, is, with, these are all keywords. Lines and indentation. In Java, how do you begin a program? You say public class, class name, and then you start brace. This brace will mark the opening of that class, and the closing brace is to mark the ending of the class. In Python, you don't have these braces. Python don't use any braces to indicate the block of code for class and functions or flow control. Blocks are denoted by line indentation. Line indentation means what? Suppose if you have this function, def function name, following line is the line that belongs to this function. right? This that the block of code belongs to this function. In other programming languages like C and Java, you have to have these braces to open and close the function code. But in Python, you have this indentation. Indentation means uh, if this is the line where you are defining function, then you should have five spaces forward its body. So five spaces forward will be the body of the function. Suppose there are three lines in this function, then three lines will begin here. This is the indentation for the body of the function fn. Uh, as the function body ends, the indentation also is back to the the one on which function was defined. This is the main indentation. And then you will have like these sub indentation. As we go along, as you define functions, classes, for loop, while loop, you should have these five spaces forward indentation. Please remember, Python do not use braces to indicate the block of code, and it uses indentation. Okay, line indentation. It is rigidly enforced. If a line indentation is not properly followed, then the program will not execute. Many errors would arise if there is no indentation properly set. Okay, and then look at this code. If true, colon. Here you have colon. Colon indicate that there is a beginning of the body, the statement. Here the statement is if. If true, true means this is a Boolean value. If it is true, then this print belongs to if statement. And you see it is forward. It is not placed on the same indentation, same line as that of if. And else is having the same indentation as if, because they both occur at the same level. Whereas these two prints occur at different levels because they belong to uh, if and else respectively. All right, students. And moving ahead, here you see that these are two statements belonging to if, and these two belong to else. And this might be at the time of printing, this might got displaced. Actually, this should not get displaced. It should be aligned exactly in a similar line, at the same line. Okay, you should not have like this. If you have like this, then it give error. Look at this program. This is just to uh, demonstrate to you how indentation works and how to write a Python program. This is a large Python program. This is the primary indentation. Here, import, try, accept, print, while, and all. This is this file is within try. That's why it is indented in a forward line. You see, these two belong to while, whereas these two belong to if. I hope indentation is clear to you all. Next one is multi-line statements. If you would like to have a large statement uh, which cannot be written in one single line, Suppose something is there which has to span over multiple lines, then you can use this backslash. This is a continuation character. You can write using continuation character, you can write one statement in multiple lines. Suppose if the statement yes, anything to ask? There is no option to mute. Tanzila, please mute. So we are here learning. If the um, uh, code is there within uh, parentheses, braces, or brackets, you don't need this continuation character, but you can write that in multiple lines. This is multi-line statement. Next, you have quotations. In Java and C, you have two kinds of quotes, single quotes and double quotes. You write strings in double quotes and you write characters in single quote. If A is there, you write in single quote. If you have A, B, C, you write in double quote. In Python, there are three kinds of quotes: single quote, double quote, triple quote. And what they denote, all the three denotes string literals. And the triple quote are used to span across multiple lines. Single quote and double quote, the entire statement should be within the single line, whereas triple quote can span multiple lines. Hash symbol is used for comments in Python. If there is a hash in the beginning of any line, then that line would be treated as a comment line. In C, you have C Java, you have like this double slash, and you have slash, asterisk, and asterisk slash. Here you have hash. Look at this code snippet. This is hash first comment. This first comment is treated as comment because of hash. And print hello Python, this string would be printed, and the print statement has in the same line another comment, which is second comment. You see here, because this is beginning with the hash, whatever follows hash is a comment, and this program would produce the result hello Python. All right, this is a line containing only white space is known as a blank line, and Python will ignore blank lines. Okay, if suppose you write first line and second line you keep blank, and the second line of code you write on the third line in the program, also it does not make any difference and there is no problem, because Python would ignore the a blank line. To prompt user to enter input, this is use this input function, which is predefined input. Press the enter key to exit. Whenever you press enter key, the program would exit. This is waiting for the user to exit the program. multiple statements on a single line. Yeah, you can have multiple statements on a single line by using semicolon. Otherwise, in Python, no need to terminate a line with a semicolon. But if you are writing multiple lines in a single line, then you can have like this. See, import sys. This is first line, and x. This is variable definition. Variable definition and import statement and output statement are combined. Uh, to segregate them, the semicolon is used. And multiple statement group as suites. Yeah, these are known as suites or block of code. Whatever is there within this uh, block, with means after if and before else if, it's sometimes called as suites. And header lines begin with a statement and terminate with a colon. This is a header line. Remember that if statement, for statement, else statement, else if statement, function statements, all headers, these headers, the first lines, they end with a colon like this. It is must. If this colon is not there, then our program would give an error, and this colon indicate that there are one or more lines that follows this statement. Command line arguments, passing command line arguments, no need of this. Python variable types. Variables are reserved memory locations to store the value. And based on the data type of a variable, the interpreter allocates memory and decides what can be stored in the reserved memory. All right, but then here in Python, what happens is Python variables do not need explicit declaration to reserve memory space. If you say int a, this is explicit declaration that a is integer type. If you say a equal to 10, this is not explicit, this is not declaring explicitly. This is not explicit declaration of data type. Python variables do not need explicit declaration. And then whenever the declaration happens, or when you assign a value to a variable, whenever you assign, for instance, counter is a variable, you are assigning 100 to counter. So this is an integer assignment. Miles is a variable, you are assigning 1000.0, which means it is a floating point variable. And name equal to John means this is a string. And look at here, you are printing counter, miles, and name, all the three. And based on these values, Python interpreter would assign the memories, reserve the memory space, and assign the type to that variable. All right, students, we will continue in tomorrow's class this variable concept. Do you have any doubt? 1 minute, I have to take attendance. No one should exit. Rule number 1, 3, 5, 6, 7. What is the 10, Shilpa? 10. 11, 13, 14, 15, 26, 27, 28, 30. 35, 40, 42, 43, 44, 47. All right, students, do you have any doubt in, 47, 50 is also, 50, 54, 57. Okay, students, please try after this class, uh, opening Colab in your mobile phone. And those who have laptop, you can install Python, and also you try to install Anaconda. And we will continue the topic of variable tomorrow.